Howdy, Cybernet, the government, the FBI, and the 5 other people that will watch this. Joking, fuck's sake. It's been a while since I've done a vlog, so I thought I'd chip in. That being our legacy when we eventually pop our clogs and die. That'll be the our digital selves will remain, I suppose. So I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to ramble whilst I get on with my busy work. I've got a lot to do today. I had a late start and I like to try to fucking get as much done as I can whilst I can do it. So yeah, I'm just going to ramble on and sort of talk about things as I'm going. Currently at the moment, I'm looking after a band called Taboo. That sounded well fucking negative, as though it was going to end at any moment. That's not the case. I'm just, trying to give you a little insight. I'm looking after a band called Taboo who are doing really, really well. They've been together not even a year at the minute, but they've done well. They've got on Radio 1. They've been bigged up by Eddie Temple Morris. BBC introducing an Essex Sound of 2018. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really matter, to be fair. The point being is that if I'm trying to validate what they do, then it's those people's opinions within the music industry that I respect and trust. Because obviously music's subjective, objective. You don't really... Just because I think something's good doesn't necessarily mean that it is. So to get that kind of validation gives you the impetus to carry on and move forward. But after a year, things started to not slide. That wouldn't be fair to say, but I think it's important that you continually sort of analyse how things are going and where you're going and whether things could be better. What's going wrong, where I'm going wrong the majority of the time, because you have to remember that this is my first foray into management. I was in a band a long time ago, and it was. I was the front man. I use that term loosely because I couldn't sing for shit. But a lot of my experience in that band was that I was kind of half managing it myself anyway, so it seemed like a natural progression when the boys asked me to get involved. But what I know about management could be written on the back of a stamp. I'm not, fucking hell, I've not got a degree in music management. It's not that. I don't have a degree in anything. I dropped out of art college after about fucking 3 weeks. Couldn't take it. So I'm an uneducated fool in a lot of ways. But I do think that life is about, trial and error. And if something goes wrong, then you have to try and fix it. So we had a meeting the other day, and it was a nice, positive outcome because everyone's super committed to what they want to do. And I think the difficulty is that no one's motivated by money. No one's motivated by fucking fame, or anything like that. Glenn Clothier, the guitarist in the band, he sort of put it so succinctly when he said that what the goal is for everyone involved is to march to the beat of their own drum. And I think that, for me, is the perfect way to sum up what I want to do in life. It's not about money. It's not about fucking success. It's not even about, what even. How do you even quantify success? I think they say that if you can get up and do what you love every day, then you don't have to work a day in your life. And so much of our lives are dictated to us by other people. I've got to go to this job. I've got to be in that place. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I don't want my life to be about I've got to do this. I want it to be I love doing this, so therefore I want to do it. So we had a really positive meeting. We had a lot of harsh truths were spoken amongst each other, which I think was fantastic because it means that resentment was, pushed to the wayside. It means that the air was cleared, and since then I've felt, and I know that I've done things completely wrong. I'm a super sensitive person that takes things the wrong way. I've still got a tendency to think that I know best when I don't, even though I preach that it's all about listening. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I preach is the stuff that I want to become. It's not who I am. I'm far from being a finished article in terms of who I would like to be as a human being. But I do have these aspirations as to what I want to do, and a lot of the stuff that I preach is for my own benefit, really, to sort of give myself a kick up the arse. So when I can look back on stuff, it reminds me first and foremost if I'm not on that path. So it was a really, really good meeting, and since then everyone's just been fucking super positive, and productive and all the rest of it. So that's, I wouldn't say it's taking care of itself, but it has definitely given everyone a fresh impetus to sort of go again after the year. They've had a fantastic year. To be honest, they've sort of exceeded expectations that I placed on them. But it's that idea that they want and I want to live the life that we choose to live. So how do you do that? Trial and error, I imagine, because no one in life goes through life without making any mistakes. It's fucking impossible to think that way, and that's how we learn, you know. I didn't pick up a pen and suddenly know how to write when I was a kid. I didn't know how to spell. When I was writing on the lines in the fucking in the book, it wasn't always on the line. It was all over the place until I practiced and changed and tried again. So there's a lot for me to learn, but that's what I love doing. If I'm passionate about something, then I love it and I want to do it, and I become a little bit obsessive about it. But that only applies to things that I love. If I'm not really interested, then I'm not gonna give 100% of myself. But something that came to pass was that I realised that I was spreading myself so thin. I started off a company called Sticky Finger, and the reason why I started it was because Taboo asked me to become involved. And so I felt that I needed a platform to showcase what they were doing. And then I had, let's say, illusions of grandeur. I had delusions of grandeur where I thought that it would be easy to set up a multifaceted company where I had writing, music management. I could take on clients that were dealing in art, music, film, and try to build a business for them, but also, you know, make a living for myself off of it. And it's not that wasn't the case, because I was a jack of all trades and master of none to a certain degree. I was making promises to people that I wasn't keeping. I was always with the best intentions in mind. Like, I always wanted to try my best to help. I always try my best to help people. Like, that's just who I am. That's the way I was brought up, you know. My mum's always sort of taught us that we need to try to help people and be polite and do our best and try to be nice people. And that's perhaps that kind of made me into a people pleaser to a certain degree. And that's never a good thing, because it just means that, you know, you're making, to all intents and purposes, you end up making promises that you can't keep. And it's not, that leaves people with less of an impression of the person that you are, or the person that you hope to be. So anyways, I decided that I needed to streamline everything. I needed to cut out trying to help people just because I think they're talented. That's not enough. It's not enough to think that you have got a divine right to help people just because you appreciate what they do, because ultimately you're going to be doing them a disservice if you can't concentrate. Or say, for example, I took an artist on who I really wanted to find work for, and I really wanted to help that person. I really respect him, and when I was younger, I've always been into art. I was never the best at it, but I've really had an appreciation of what he does, and still do. But by the time I was finished on Taboo stuff, and then I just wasn't able to help in the way that I wanted to. So it's not a, you know, a slight on that person. It's a slight on me, if anything, but it doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a good place. So I had to make the difficult decision to say, look, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not good at, or this is what I just don't have the time to get good at. Like I said to you, I'm cutting my teeth as someone that's trying to help a band out at the moment, and there's only so much that you can do. There's only so many hours in a day. So I had to make the decision to streamline the site, which is stickyfingerltd.com. But it also kind of, I think sometimes a change is as good as a rest. So I completely stripped back what I'd done. I took off so much content from the site because we live in an age where content is supposed to be continuous, I think, especially like when you consider Instagram stories now. It's almost as though we're represented ourselves in a digital way. So people have that voyeuristic tendency where they want to see what's going on in other people's lives. I do too. The Instagram stories are funny as fuck, especially like the people that I knock about with and the people that I know. It's more entertaining than watching TV. I think it went from TV to YouTube. My kids are sort of would sit there for hours watching YouTube rather than the telly. And now I think it's gone from that to Instagram stories where you're getting these short, sharp bursts of people's lives, but it's that instant gratification that people crave. So rather than sit there and have to concentrate on one particular topic or follow the theme or the storyline of a film for 2 hours or an hour and a half, people would rather just have this, that, and it's that short attention span that social media is creating. But it means that, you know, you have to keep things fresh all the time. So I had to make the decision to try to less content, less shit content, and try to freshen things up. So everything that had gone beforehand, at the time when I'd done it, I thought, this looks the bollocks. I'm really happy with it. I like the design of it. I like the ideas. I like the themes. But as I said before, change is as good as a rest. So I think that it needed to be fresher. It needed to be cleaner. Aside from that, the only things I'm doing now at the minute, right, are writing, looking after Taboo, and I'm doing a little bit of PR work within the music industry. And those are the things that I love. I love music and I love writing, and it's as simple as that. I love art, I love film, you know, who doesn't? But those are not my main passions in life, and I think that if you're not following things that you are 110% passionate about, you're not going to put 110% in. So, just a fucking an acknowledgement of the fact that I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'll always fucking learn. I mean, that's what I think about life. Like, I look back, you know, Facebook does that thing where it goes, oh, this is a status that you had 7 years ago. I look at it and I think, I still haven't learned that lesson. I fucking need to know that now. I need to still implement that into my life now. But you've got to be gentle with yourself. I think you can't beat yourself up all the time, because what are you going to get out of doing that? You just need to take it on the chin, realise that life's a journey that you're never going to graduate. Do you know what I mean? There ain't never going to be a day where you go, thank fuck, finally, I'm the perfect human being. It ain't gonna, it's like a continual process, and you have to keep it in the day. So if I can go to bed at night and go, number one, I didn't take any drugs today. Number two, I wasn't a horrible person. Number three, I'm proud of the work that I've done. Then I can sleep nice, and I don't really have to worry about long term. I can't think long term. I find it overwhelming. I mean, it's important to plan, but John Steinbeck, the best laid plans of mice and men always go awry. So it's about keeping an eye on the goal, but having that adaptability to change where you're going wrong, and to be able to open your ears and recognise where you're going wrong. For me personally, otherwise, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. I'm a fucking quote machine, boy. No, but in all seriousness, if it ain't working, change it. You know, if it's not giving you the results that you want, then you need to have a look at the process, because something's wrong. And I don't think there's any shame in that. I'm happy. I'm happy with how things are going. I'm meeting some really cool people. I'm getting to experience things that I've never done before. And that's difficult for me, because I've always been an insecure person, or an insecure child, and emotionally stunted as well. I think by the time I got to about 13, my emotional capabilities shut down there, to be honest. So for me to be able to even just walk into a place and not feel anxious or not feel overwhelmed is massive for me. And I'm proud of where I am and excuse me, and where I'm going. I would hate to think that people think that I've got a hidden agenda. I don't have an hidden agenda. This is the thing. Do I have an agenda? Yes. I want to live my life on my terms. That's what I want to do. And I'm not going to be able to do that without other people's help. It's impossible. Like, no man is an island. You can't fucking achieve what you want on your own. It doesn't work like that. It's about teamwork. But my agenda is not hidden. I'm upfront about it. This is what I want to do. And I'm not here to just take off of people and not give back. Like, I'll do anything for anyone. I really would. And even if somebody can't do anything for me in return, that's not going to impact on whether I would like to help them or not. Like, if someone's got a problem, then, or if I can help, or if there's anything I can do, whether that be listening to them, doing a bit of work for them, fucking dropping them somewhere, picking them up, going to get something for them, whatever it is, I'm not the type of person that's, you know, ever going to say no. I want to be helpful, I want to be nice, and that's not because I seek validation for myself. I know I'm a good person. That's just the way I was brought up. I think if everybody fucking helped other people, then... And that's not to say that I'm better than everyone else, because I'm not. I'm still a cunt and I'm still a prick a lot of the time. A fucking lot of the time. But I'm not, you know... Kills me how you can see people on the streets, freezing cold, and you've got other people living in mansions where they've got 6 or 7 bedrooms that they don't even fucking use. Like, what the fuck's going on with society where that's alright? It's not. It's that consumer society that tries to separate us from each other. You know, keeping up with the Joneses. I don't need to keep up with the fucking Joneses. I need to keep up with the Bobby. I've really wasted a lot of time today and I need to crack on, so I'm going to leave it there. But I just thought that I'd pop something online that had a bit more substance to it, I think. Try and give people, or at least my kids, they're always in the forefront of my mind, is that when I started a band, right, this is what happened. I was with the mother of my kids. We went full term with a pregnancy, and a week before the baby was due, he died. That absolutely wrecked my fucking head for a decade at least, more. But it also gave me strength in a lot of ways, and it made me fearless. I don't care what you think of me. I really don't. I care what my kids think of me. I don't care what fucking Joe Blogs thinks of me. If he gets to know me, he's going to know I'm a nice person. If he doesn't, or if he wants to come at me with a cynical perspective about me, then that's his stuff. You know what I mean? I can't control that. But what I wanted to show my kids is that if you approach life fearlessly, you'll get, you know, people go, I remember when I was at school and they went, what do you want to do when you leave school? I come from the East End, I come from Canning Town. And they said, what do you want to do when you leave school? And I said, I'd quite like to go to university. And they laughed me out of the door. Like, that was mind-boggling. I could have done whatever I want to fucking do. And I'm only realising that at 36. I'm not going to let the people I love and my children and my friends take this long, because I could have been doing this, you know, since I was a kid. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of trying, fear of giving it everything and realising that it's still not good enough, hold so many people back. But I just don't give a shit. Like, I'd rather sit on my deathbed knowing that I gave it my best fucking shot and it didn't happen, rather than sit there and wonder what if. Simple as that. But I've rambled on and talked absolute shit. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about, so I do apologise if I bored the life out of you. But I've got to go and crack on. I've got loads of stuff to do, but hopefully I'll do some more of these. I'd like to think that, you know, when I am dead and gone, that it will give a little bit of an insight into me for my children. There's only so much you can teach them in a certain amount of time. But at least this way, my digital avatar lives on. Namaste, have a good day, be good, try to help people. Don't be a twat. See you later. Take care. Bye bye.